I sat at that polished mahogany table in the private dining room, my vision board spread out before everyone, when my mother stood up so abruptly her wine nearly spilled. The silence felt heavy. Carol's voice cut through the air like glass shattering. "We're not funding this circus." My fiancé Marcus squeezed my hand under the table. She continued, louder now, announcing the wedding was canceled, the venue deposit would be withdrawn, and the $20,000 would instead fund my sister Amanda's 3-month backpacking trip through Europe. Amanda smirked from across the table. Everyone went silent. I sat frozen, humiliated, unable to breathe. Marcus helped me to my feet, his arms steady around my waist as we made our way through the restaurant. I could barely see through the blur of tears threatening to spill. The cool October air hit my face as we stepped into the parking lot, and I finally let myself take a shaky breath. "Bridge, look at me," Marcus said softly, turning me to face him. "We can elope. We can go to the courthouse tomorrow. None of this matters except you and me." I wanted to believe him, but my chest felt like it was caving in. Before I could respond, I heard footsteps behind us. My father David appeared, his face flushed, his eyes darting between us nervously. "Bridget, sweetheart, wait," he said, reaching out but not quite touching me. "I need to talk to you. Alone. Just for a minute." Marcus looked at me, and I nodded. He stepped away, giving us space but staying close enough that I could see him leaning against our car. "Dad, how could you let her do that?" My voice cracked. In front of everyone. In front of Marcus. David rubbed his face with both hands, a gesture I recognized from childhood when he was stressed. "I didn't know she was going to do that. I swear to you, Bridget, she didn't tell me. We talked about helping Amanda with some travel expenses, but I had no idea she planned to cancel your wedding." "Some travel expenses?" "Dad, that's $20,000. That was supposed to be for my wedding. You both promised." "I know, honey. I know." He looked genuinely distressed. "Let me talk to her. Let me handle this. By tomorrow, I'll have this sorted out. Your mother just got carried away." You know how she gets when Amanda talks about her dreams. That last part stung more than he probably intended. Amanda's dreams always seemed to matter more than mine, but I was too tired to argue. "Fine," I whispered. "Talk to her." He kissed my forehead and hurried back inside. Marcus opened the car door for me, and I collapsed into the passenger seat. My hands were shaking as I fumbled for my phone. I needed to hear a rational voice, someone who wasn't related to me. I called Jenna, my best friend since college. "Hey, how did the dinner go?" Jenna's cheerful voice made me start crying immediately. "Bridge, what happened?" Through sobs, I told her everything. The vision board I'd worked on for weeks. The detailed budget breakdown showing how we'd planned every dollar. My mother standing up like she was making a toast, then dropping that bomb, Amanda's face, that satisfied little smile. "That's awful," Jenna said. "But honestly, Bridge, I'm not completely surprised." "What do you mean?" There was a pause. "Amanda's been talking. For weeks now. Every time I run into her at the gym or the grocery store, she mentions how your wedding is getting out of control. How it's costing too much. How you're embarrassing the family with excessive demands." My stomach dropped. "I never said any of that. Jenna, you've seen my planning. $15,000 for everything. That's reasonable. That's what we agreed on." "I know. But she's been telling everyone you kept increasing the budget. That you wanted ice sculptures and a live band and destination bachelorette parties. She made it sound like you'd turned into some kind of bridezilla." Marcus was watching me from the driver's seat, his jaw tight. I put the phone on speaker so he could hear. "When did this start?" I asked. "Maybe 6 weeks ago?" At first I thought she was just venting or exaggerating, but she was really consistent about it. "She told your Aunt Helen the same thing. And your mom's book club friends." My mind raced. 6 weeks ago was right when Amanda had suddenly started being super friendly, offering to help with wedding planning, asking to see all my vendor quotes and contracts. I'd thought she was finally being supportive. Instead, she'd been gathering ammunition. "I have to go," I said. "I'll call you tomorrow." I hung up and immediately opened social media. My hands were still shaking as I scrolled to Amanda's profile. The most recent post was from 2 hours ago. There she was, beaming at the camera, holding what looked like a champagne glass, even though she was only 25. The caption read, "So grateful Mom and Dad are funding my dream trip to Europe. Family knows what really matters. 3 months of adventure starts next week. Prague, Paris, Barcelona, Rome, and so many more. Feeling blessed and loved." The post already had 342 likes. Comments poured in. "So amazing. You deserve this. Your parents are the best." My cousin Hannah had written, "Wait, what about Bridgette's wedding?" Amanda had replied, "Some things are more important than expensive parties. Real family understands that." I felt like I'd been slapped. Marcus read over my shoulder, and I heard him exhale sharply. "This was planned," I said, my voice hollow. "She's been working on this for over a month, turning everyone against me, making me look bad. And tonight was just the big finale." Marcus started the car. "Let's go home. We'll figure this out tomorrow." But I already knew. This wasn't a misunderstanding. This wasn't my mother getting carried away in the moment. This was a calculated, coordinated destruction of my wedding, orchestrated by my little sister while my parents cheered her on. And somehow, I was supposed to be the villain in this story. I barely slept. By 7 in the morning, I was dressed and driving to my parents' house in the suburbs. The same house I'd grown up in, with its neat flower beds and the porch swing my dad had built when I was 12. It looked so normal, so innocent, like a place where families loved each other. My mother's car was in the driveway. I knocked, then used my key when no one answered. Carol was in the kitchen, still in her bathrobe, scrolling through her phone with a cup of coffee. She looked up when I walked in, and her expression immediately hardened. "We're not discussing this," she said before I could speak. "Mom, please, just listen to me. The decision is final, Bridgette. Your father and I talked about it all night." Well, I talked. He agreed. The wedding was getting out of hand. Out of hand? "Mom, I showed you the budget. $15,000. That's exactly what you and Dad originally promised. I haven't added anything." Carol set down her coffee with a sharp click. "That's not what we heard. The venue alone was going to be $12,000. The dress was $4,000. You wanted a videographer for $3,000. My mouth fell open. None of that is true. The venue is $4,000. My dress is $800. I'm not even hiring a videographer because we couldn't afford it. Don't lie to me." "I'm not lying. Mom, where did you hear those numbers?" "Amanda showed me the quotes. She found them in your planning folder when she was trying to help you." Of course she did. Amanda had asked to see everything, claiming she wanted to learn for her own eventual wedding. I'd trusted her. I'd shown her every single document. "Those weren't my quotes," I said, fighting to keep my voice steady. "Mom, I don't know what Amanda showed you, but they were fake. Please just look at my actual contracts. They're in my email. I can show you right now. I don't need to see anything. Your sister wouldn't lie to me." The certainty in her voice broke something in me. "But I would? Your other daughter would lie, but not Amanda? Amanda has always been honest with us. You, on the other hand, have always been difficult." I stepped back like she'd hit me. "Difficult?" "Yes. Demanding. High maintenance. Ever since you were little, you've needed so much attention, so much validation. Amanda is easy. She's grateful. She doesn't make everything about herself." I couldn't believe what I was hearing. My mother was rewriting history right in front of me. I'd been the easy child. The one who got good grades without being asked, who helped around the house, who never caused drama. Amanda was the one who'd been in and out of 3 colleges, who'd wrecked 2 cars, who'd bounced from job to job. "Where's Dad?" I asked. "He left for work early." "On a Saturday?" Carol shrugged. "He had things to catch up on. He was avoiding me." I pulled out my phone and called him. It rang 4 times before going to voicemail. I tried again. Same thing. "He doesn't want to talk to you," Carol said. "He supports my decision." "Your decision?" "I thought you said you decided together." "We did. I decided, and he agreed." That's how marriage works. I texted my father. Dad, please. I need to talk to you. This is all based on lies. Amanda made up those numbers. 3 dots appeared, then disappeared, then appeared again. Finally, a response. Your mother and I have made our decision. The money has already been transferred to Amanda's travel account. I'm sorry, but it's done. My vision blurred. He transferred it already? It's been less than 12 hours. We didn't want you trying to manipulate us into changing our minds, Carol said. It's better this way. Clean break. Amanda leaves for Europe in 5 days. You and Marcus can get married at the courthouse if you want. Plenty of people do that. But you promised. When Marcus and I got engaged, you and Dad sat us down and promised you'd help with the wedding. You said it was important to you. You cried, Mom. You said you'd dreamed of this day since I was born. I dreamed of a wedding that honored our family, not a circus that would embarrass us in front of our friends. There was that word again. Circus. Like my marriage to Marcus was some kind of joke. What do you have against Marcus? I asked quietly. Carol looked away. I don't have anything against him. Then, what is this really about? It's about priorities. It's about family. It's about recognizing that Amanda needs our support right now more than you need an expensive party. She's going on vacation, Mom. I'm getting married. How is a vacation more important than a wedding? Amanda is going through something. She needs this trip for her mental health. What is she going through? That's between her and us. The point is, she needs us. And as her parents, we're going to be there for her. I wanted to scream. I wanted to throw something. Instead, I took a deep breath and tried one more time. Mom, please, look at my actual budget. 5 minutes. That's all I'm asking. Get out of my house, Bridget. What? You heard me. I'm not going to stand here and let you disrespect your sister. Amanda is going through a difficult time, and instead of supporting her, you're making this all about you. As always, I stared at this woman who'd raised me, who'd tucked me in at night and made my favorite pancakes on Sunday mornings. She was looking at me like I was a stranger, like I was the enemy. Fine, I whispered. I'll go. I drove halfway home before I had to pull over because I was crying too hard to see. Marcus called me 3 times before I could answer. She won't listen, I sobbed. Dad already transferred the money. They think I'm lying about everything. Come home, Marcus said. Please, just come home. When I got back to our apartment, I called Amanda. She answered on the first ring, her voice sickeningly sweet. Hey, Bridge, how are you feeling? What did you tell them, Amanda? I don't know what you mean. The venue quote, the dress, the videographer. You showed Mom fake numbers. Oh, those. Well, I might have accidentally grabbed some different quotes from your folder, some of the vendors you were considering before you narrowed it down. Mom asked what you were planning, and I showed her what I'd found. If they were wrong, that's not my fault. She was so casual about it, like destroying my wedding was no big deal. You knew exactly what you were doing. Mom and Dad make their own choices, Bridget. I just gave them information. What they did with it is up to them. You manipulated them. Maybe they just don't think Marcus is the right guy. My breath caught. What? Well, Dad mentioned Marcus's family has some financial troubles. Mom's worried you'll end up supporting them, having to give them money. She doesn't want to fund a wedding when the groom can't even take care of his own family. That's not true. Marcus's family is fine. They're completely stable. Are you sure? Because Dad said Marcus's father had some business problems last year. Something about debts and almost losing their house. This was insane. Marcus's father owned a successful plumbing company. They'd had one slow quarter last winter, but nothing remotely close to financial crisis. And how would Amanda even know about that unless she'd been digging into Marcus's family and twisting whatever she found? You're lying. I'm just telling you what I heard. Maybe you should ask Marcus if he's been honest with you about his family situation. Anyway, I have to go. Lots to pack for Europe. Talk soon. She hung up. I sat there, phone in my hand, trying to process what had just happened. Amanda hadn't just sabotaged the wedding funding. She'd been systematically destroying my parents' opinion of Marcus, planting seeds of doubt about his character, his family, his ability to provide for me. And my parents had believed every word. 1 week crawled by. Marcus and I tried to act normal, but everything felt broken. Then my grandmother Eleanor called. "Sweetheart, I'm in town. Let's have lunch. Just the two of us. That little French cafe you like." I met her at noon on Thursday. Eleanor was my mom's mother, 78 years old and sharper than most people half her age. She hugged me tight when I arrived, and I almost started crying right there in the restaurant. We ordered, and she waited until the waiter left before she spoke. "I heard the wedding was canceled because you and Marcus broke up. Is that true?" I froze, fork halfway to my mouth. "What?" "No. We're still together. We're still engaged." Eleanor frowned. "That's not what your mother told me. She called last Tuesday, very upset. She said you'd called off the wedding because things weren't working out with Marcus. She said you were both very young, and it was probably for the best." My mother was lying to everyone, not just about the money, but about everything, creating an entire false narrative where I was the one who'd ended things. I told Eleanor the truth. All of it. The dinner, the announcement, Amanda's manipulation, the fake quotes, the lies about Marcus's family. My grandmother's expression grew darker with every sentence. "That girl," she finally said, and I knew she meant Amanda. "She's always been trouble. Sweet as sugar to your parents' faces, but I've watched her. She's calculating. Mom won't believe it. She thinks Amanda is perfect. Your mother has always had a blind spot when it comes to Amanda. I've told her that for years." Eleanor paused, then added carefully, "Carol called me last week asking to borrow $10,000. She said it was for Amanda's education expenses. Amanda finished college 2 years ago." I know. That's why I said no. It didn't make sense. I asked what kind of education expenses, and Carol got defensive and hung up on me. A cold feeling settled in my stomach. "How much did Mom and Dad promise Amanda for the trip?" $20,000, according to what you told me. "Let me make a call." I excused myself and called Marcus. "Can you look something up for me?" "Use your work resources. I need to know if my parents took out any loans recently." Marcus worked in financial analysis. He had access to databases that could pull credit reports and loan information. It took him 20 minutes to call me back. "Bridge, your mom took out a personal loan 3 weeks ago. $15,000 from a credit union. And there's another inquiry from 2 weeks ago, but I can't see if it was approved." My head spun. So the trip isn't costing $20,000. It's costing at least $35,000. Maybe more if that second loan went through. I went back to the table and told Eleanor. Her face went pale. "Carol is going into debt for this trip? For a vacation?" "Apparently. I need to talk to her." "She won't listen, Grandma. She's decided Amanda is the priority, and nothing I say matters." But Eleanor was already dialing. I listened to her side of the conversation. It was short and brutal. Eleanor demanded to know about the loan. Carol apparently denied it at first, then admitted it, then justified it by saying Amanda deserved nice things after working so hard. Eleanor asked what Amanda had worked hard at, since she'd been fired from her last 2 jobs. Carol hung up on her. "Your mother is in denial," Eleanor said. "She knows Amanda has problems, but she's chosen to enable them instead of addressing them." Over the next few days, Marcus and I did more digging. We discovered Amanda had applied for 3 credit cards in the past 2 months. All 3 were maxed out. She owed almost $18,000 in credit card debt alone, and collection agencies were starting to call. I tried to tell my father. I called him at work, got him on the line for 2 minutes before he cut me off. "Stop snooping into your sister's private business. Dad, she's in serious debt. The trip is just an escape. She's running away from her problems, and you and Mom are enabling it. Amanda needs this trip for her mental health. She's been stressed. Your wedding can wait. Marriage isn't going anywhere. But $35,000 for Amanda's mental health is fine?" He was quiet for a long moment. Then, quietly, "How did you know that number?" "It doesn't matter. Dad, you and Mom are going into debt for this. That's not sustainable. We're handling it. Stay out of it, Bridget." I'm trying to help. No, you're trying to ruin your sister's trip because you're jealous. We raised you better than this. He hung up. I stared at my phone, numb. My own father thought I was the villain here. Marcus found me sitting on the floor of our bedroom, crying. He sat down next to me, pulled me into his arms, and just held me while I fell apart. They chose her, I kept saying. They chose her over me. Then we choose us, Marcus said firmly. We choose each other, and we build something they can't touch. 2 weeks later, we were invited to a retirement party for one of my dad's colleagues, a guy named Frank who'd worked with Dad for 30 years. It was at a country club, fancy but not too formal. Marcus and I debated whether to go, but ultimately decided we should. We still had to live in this city, still had to navigate family events eventually. Amanda was there when we arrived, showing her phone to a cluster of older women. I caught glimpses of her screen. Itineraries, hotel photos. She'd leave in 3 days. People kept approaching me with these sympathetic, pitying looks. My dad's secretary patted my arm and said nothing. My Aunt Rachel hugged me extra long. I didn't understand why, until Frank's wife pulled me aside near the bar. Bridget, honey, I'm so sorry to hear about the breakup. At least you found out before the wedding. Better now than after, right? My blood went cold. I'm sorry, what? She looked confused. You and Marcus. Your mom said you called it off because things weren't working out. We didn't break up. We're still engaged. I held up my hand, showing the ring. Her face flushed bright red. Oh no, I'm so sorry. I must have misunderstood. Your mother was talking about it at book club last month, and I thought she said the wedding was off because of relationship problems. What exactly did she say? I don't want to cause trouble. Please. She glanced around nervously. She said you'd discovered Marcus was unfaithful, that you'd called off the wedding but were trying to work through it privately. She asked everyone not to bring it up if they saw you because you were embarrassed. I felt Marcus stiffen beside me. His hand found mine, gripping tight. That's not true, I said, my voice shaking. None of that is true. I believe you, sweetheart. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have said anything. She hurried away, clearly mortified. I scanned the room and found my mother near the hors d'oeuvres table, laughing with 2 other women. I walked straight over to her. Mom, can I talk to you? Privately? Carol's smile faded. We're in the middle of a conversation. Now, please. She excused herself with an exaggerated sigh and followed me to a quiet corner near the coat check. What did you tell people about Marcus? I asked, keeping my voice low. I don't know what you're talking about. Frank's wife just told me you said Marcus cheated on me, that I called off the wedding because he was unfaithful. Carol's jaw tightened. I had to tell people something. I wasn't going to admit we refused to pay for your circus. So you destroyed his reputation instead? Mom, do you understand what you've done? You've told our entire social circle that Marcus is a cheater. His family goes to church with half these people. His boss is friends with Dad. You're destroying his life. Then maybe you should reconsider marrying someone who can't afford to pay for his own wedding. The words hung in the air between us. Cold, cruel, completely unlike the mother I thought I knew. You can't be serious. I'm completely serious. If Marcus were a real man, he'd have the money to give you the wedding you want. Instead, you're asking your parents to fund it while his family contributes nothing. His family offered to help. We told them no, because you and Dad had already promised. Well, we unpromised. Deal with it. I heard footsteps. Amanda appeared, her expression dripping with false concern. Bridget, stop making a scene. Everyone's trying to celebrate Frank's retirement. Several people had turned to look at us. I felt my face burning. I'm not making a scene, I said quietly. I'm having a private conversation with our mother. It doesn't look private. You're embarrassing yourself. Just because you're jealous that Mom and Dad are helping me doesn't mean you get to ruin their reputation. Helping you? They're going into debt for you. Amanda's eyes flashed. That's our family's business, not yours. You're so selfish, Bridget. Everything always has to be about you, doesn't it? Your wedding, your feelings, your drama. Did it ever occur to you that maybe I need Mom and Dad right now? That maybe I'm going through something difficult, and they're being good parents by supporting me? More people were staring now. I could feel the weight of their judgment, their curiosity. I must have looked crazy, confronting my mother and sister at a retirement party. Marcus appeared at my elbow. "Let's go," he said softly. "Running away won't solve anything." Amanda called after us. I let Marcus guide me out of the country club. My whole body was shaking. We sat in the car for a long time before he started the engine. "Everyone thinks you cheated on me," I finally said. "I know. Your reputation is destroyed. I don't care what those people think. But your work, your church. Marcus, this affects your whole life." He turned to face me. "You know what affects my whole life? You. Us. That's it. Those people in there, they'll believe what they want to believe. We can spend the rest of our lives trying to convince them, or we can prove them wrong by being happy. How? We get married. On our own terms. Without them. Without their money, or their approval, or their blessing. We do it ourselves, and we do it right, and we show everyone that we don't need them." Something shifted in me. He was right. I'd been begging for scraps from people who didn't respect me. Trying to earn love from a mother who'd already decided I wasn't worth it. Defending myself to people who'd already made up their minds. "Okay," I said. "Okay? Let's do it. Let's plan our own wedding. Let's prove we don't need them." Marcus smiled. Really smiled. For the first time in weeks. "Yeah?" "Yeah." That night, we sat down with a notebook and a calculator. We had 5 months until our original wedding date. We could save aggressively, we could cut expenses, we could make it work. And we would do it without them. The next 6 weeks became a blur of work and planning. I took on every freelance graphic design project I could find. Small businesses needing logos, families wanting custom invitations, a local nonprofit redesigning their website. I worked late into the night, sometimes until 2 or 3 in the morning, then got up at 7 to go to my regular day job at the marketing firm. Marcus picked up overtime shifts at his financial analysis firm. They were expanding into a new market and needed extra hands for data modeling. He'd come home exhausted, eat dinner standing at the counter, then sit with me while I worked on designs. We cut every unnecessary expense. No more eating out, no streaming services. We sold my old bike that I never rode anymore, Marcus's gaming console that had been collecting dust, some furniture we didn't need. Every dollar went into our wedding fund. Jenna became our unpaid wedding planner and coordinator. She had a gift for finding deals and negotiating with vendors. She convinced a struggling local photographer to do our wedding for half price in exchange for portfolio photos and a testimonial. She found a florist who'd just started her business and needed the exposure. Marcus's sister Lauren offered her backyard for the ceremony. I'd been there for family barbecues and it was beautiful. Almost 3/4 of an acre with mature oak trees and a natural garden area. Lauren and her husband had been maintaining it for years. They had string lights already installed between the trees and a stone patio perfect for the reception. "You've done so much for our family," Lauren told me when we went to look at the space. "When Marcus's dad was sick last year and you organized that meal train and helped with insurance paperwork, you didn't hesitate. This is the least we can do." The catering came together through an unexpected connection. Marcus had worked part-time at a local Italian restaurant during college. The owner, Tony, had been his mentor and had taught him about work ethic and responsibility. When Marcus called him to catch up and mentioned we were planning a small wedding, Tony offered to cater at cost. "Your family," Tony said simply. "Family takes care of family." I designed everything myself. Invitations, programs, table numbers, a welcome sign, thank you cards. I spent hours perfecting each design, making sure everything coordinated. Soft sage green and cream, elegant but not fussy. Simple line drawings of oak leaves as a motif throughout. We kept it all private from my parents and Amanda. I didn't post anything on social media. We told our mutual friends we were taking a break from wedding planning to focus on other things. Only our closest circle knew the truth. Meanwhile, Amanda's departure for Europe became the main topic of family conversation. My aunts texted me pictures from her send-off party. 40 people at my parents' house, champagne and catered appetizers. Amanda wore a new designer outfit, her matching luggage set lined up for photos. The social media posts were constant. Amanda at the airport. Amanda's first-class seat with the champagne. Amanda arriving in London. Every meal, every sight, every hotel room documented and shared. But I started hearing other things too. My cousin Hannah called me one afternoon, her voice worried. Hey, so I don't want to gossip, but Amanda posted about this hotel in Paris, and I looked it up. It's like $900 a night. Is that normal? I don't know what her budget is, I said carefully. Bridge. She's been gone for 2 weeks, and she's stayed in 4 different cities, all luxury hotels. She's eating at Michelin star restaurants. I thought your parents gave her $20,000 for 3 months. She's going to blow through that in a month at this rate. I didn't know what to say. Part of me felt vindicated that someone else was noticing the extravagance. Part of me just felt sad. Then Eleanor called again. She'd tried to reach Carol multiple times and been ignored. Finally, she'd driven to my parents' house unannounced. I confronted your mother about the money, Eleanor said. She admitted to the loans. Bridget, it's worse than we thought. They borrowed a total of $30,000 on top of what they'd saved. The trip is costing over $50,000 because Amanda keeps extending her stays and upgrading everything. My jaw dropped. $50,000? Your father took money out of his retirement account. There are penalties, taxes. They're in serious financial trouble, sweetheart. And your mother is in complete denial. She kept saying Amanda deserves this after everything she's been through. What has she been through? A bad breakup? Getting fired for showing up late too many times? Maxing out credit cards on designer purses? I don't know. Carol won't give me details. She just keeps saying I don't understand. What did Dad say? He wasn't there. I think he's avoiding the whole situation. Your mother is handling everything, and he's just going along with it. After we hung up, I told Marcus everything. He looked as stunned as I felt. $50,000 for a vacation, he said slowly. While they told you $15,000 for your wedding was too much. It was never about the money. It was about choosing her over me. Marcus pulled me close. Then let's make sure our choice is the right one. Let's create something so beautiful they'll realize what they missed. 4 weeks before our new wedding date, everything came together. We'd saved $9,000. With the discounts and help from friends and family, we could do it. A real wedding. 75 guests. Ceremony in Lauren's garden, reception at Tony's restaurant. Simple but elegant. Exactly what we wanted. I sent invitations to my parents and Amanda. Not asking for anything. Not seeking approval. Just informing them of the date and location. Marcus thought I was being too generous, but I needed to take the high road. I needed to prove I was better than their pettiness. My father texted back. Received the invitation. We'll let you know. Amanda didn't respond at all. She was in Barcelona, posting photos of herself in evening gowns at rooftop bars. Eleanor called the day after she received her invitation. She was crying. I'm so proud of you, sweetheart. You and Marcus did this yourselves. This is real love, real commitment. I'll be there in the front row. 2 of my aunts, Carol's younger sisters, also confirmed they were coming. Apparently, Eleanor had told them the whole truth, and they were appalled by how Carol had treated me. They'd tried talking to her, but she'd shut them out. The wedding was becoming real, and I was doing it without my parents' money, without their approval, without their help. Just me and Marcus and the people who actually loved us. It felt terrifying and liberating all at once. 2 weeks before the wedding, Amanda came home early from Europe. She called me at 9 o'clock on a Tuesday night, and I almost didn't answer. But something told me to pick up. Bridget. Her voice was sharp, angry. We need to talk. About what? About your little stunt with the wedding invitation. Did you really think rubbing it in everyone's face was a good idea? I sat up straighter on the couch. Marcus looked over from his laptop, concerned. I'm not rubbing anything in anyone's face. I sent invitations to my family. That's normal. Normal? You're throwing a wedding after Mom and Dad told you they weren't paying for it. You're deliberately trying to embarrass them. Make them look bad. Show everyone they were wrong. Amanda, I'm getting married because I love Marcus. This has nothing to do with Mom and Dad. Everything you do is about making them feel guilty. You're so selfish, Bridget. Do you know what you've done? What are you talking about? Mom and Dad are in serious financial trouble because of you. The audacity of that statement left me speechless for a moment. Because of me? Yes, your constant demands, your guilt trips, your refusal to understand. They felt so pressured by you that they overextended themselves trying to make Amanda happy instead. And now they're drowning in debt, and it's all your fault. I stood up, pacing. Amanda, I never asked them for anything after they canceled the wedding. I've been planning this entire thing myself. That's exactly the problem. You made them feel so guilty that Mom started borrowing money. She took out loans trying to prove she wasn't a bad mother, and now they can't pay their bills. My mind reeled. Wait, how much did the trip end up costing? There was a long pause. That's not the point. How much, Amanda? $52,000, okay? But I didn't know it would cost that much. Things in Europe are expensive, and I had to extend my trip because I was finally feeling better mentally, and Mom said it was fine. She wanted me to be happy. $52,000. I felt sick. You spent $52,000 on a vacation while Mom and Dad went into debt. They wanted to help me. I have been going through a really hard time, and they were being supportive parents. Unlike you, who only cares about yourself. What hard time? What have you been going through? That's between me and them. The point is, I needed this trip, and instead of being happy for me, you're sending out wedding invitations like you're trying to prove something. I am proving something. I'm proving I can build a life without their money, without their approval, without any of you. Amanda's voice went cold. Is that what this is about? Punishing us? No, this is about moving on. About creating something real with someone who actually values me. You're pathetic. You know that? Desperate for attention, desperate to be the victim. Well, congratulations. You got what you wanted. Mom feels terrible. She's been crying for days. And Dad is barely speaking to her because of the money situation. You've destroyed their marriage, their finances, everything. I hope you're happy. I didn't destroy anything. You did. How dare you? You manipulated them. You lied about my wedding costs. You made up stories about Marcus. You spent their retirement money on luxury hotels and designer clothes while knowing they were going into debt. And now you're trying to blame me for it. I didn't make them do anything. They chose to help me. That's what good parents do. No, Amanda. Good parents support all their children, not just the one who manipulates them best. She hung up on me. I stood there, phone in my hand, shaking. Marcus came over and wrapped his arms around me. What happened? I told him everything. The $52,000. Amanda's accusations. The claim that our wedding invitation had somehow destroyed our parents' marriage. She's panicking, Marcus said. The truth is coming out, and she's trying to control the narrative. 2 days later, my mother showed up at our apartment. I saw her through the peephole, and for a moment, I considered not answering. But I opened the door. Carol looked terrible. Dark circles under her eyes, her hair not styled like usual, wearing sweatpants I'd never seen her in before. She looked older somehow, diminished. "Can I come in?" she asked. I stepped aside. She walked to our small living room and sat on the edge of the couch, her purse clutched in her lap. "We're in trouble," she said without preamble. "Financial trouble. Big trouble." I sat across from her, waiting. "The credit cards are maxed out. The loans are due. Your father took money from his retirement, and there are penalties. The bank is threatening to foreclose on our home equity line because we're behind on payments." Her voice cracked. "We're going to lose the house, Bridget." Part of me wanted to feel satisfaction, vindication, but mostly, I just felt sad. "I'm sorry you're going through this," I said carefully. She looked up, and I saw hope flash across her face. "Then you'll help us." My stomach dropped. "What?" "Cancel the wedding. Return whatever deposits you can. We need the money. We need anything you can spare. We're your parents. Family helps family." I couldn't breathe. "You want me to cancel my wedding to give you money?" "We're in crisis, Bridget. This is an emergency. You're being selfish planning this wedding when we're drowning." Something in me snapped. I stood up. No. What? You canceled my wedding to fund Amanda's luxury vacation. You lied about me and Marcus to everyone we know. You went into debt choosing her over me. And now you want me to sacrifice again? Carol's face went pale, then red. How can you be so heartless? We raised you. We gave you everything. And now when we need you, you turn your back on us? You turned your back on me first. You humiliated me in front of everyone. You destroyed Marcus's reputation. You chose Amanda over and over and over again. And when it all fell apart, when your choices caught up with you, you want me to fix it. We're your parents. Then act like it. My voice rose, and I didn't care. Act like parents who love both their daughters equally, who celebrate their children's happiness instead of funding one child's destruction at the other's expense. You made your choices, Mom. You chose to believe Amanda's lies. You chose to borrow money you couldn't pay back. You chose to go into debt for a vacation. Those were your choices, not mine. So, you'll just stand by and watch us lose our home? I took a deep breath, steadying myself. I've worked 2 jobs for 2 months to pay for my own wedding. Marcus and I did this without you. We saved every penny. We cut every expense. We built something real and meaningful on our own. And you want me to throw that away, to fix your mistakes. I made those mistakes for my daughter. You made them for Amanda, not for me. I haven't been your daughter for a long time. I've been the difficult one, the demanding one, the one who needs too much attention. You said it yourself. Carol stood up, her hands shaking. I was upset when I said that, but you meant it, and that's what hurts the most. You actually believe Amanda is the good daughter and I'm the problem. Bridget, please. I'm getting married in 2 weeks. To a man I love, who values me, who chose me. I'm having a wedding that Marcus and I planned and paid for ourselves. I'm building a life that doesn't depend on your approval or your money. And I'm done letting you make me feel guilty for wanting to be happy. Tears streamed down Carol's face. So that's it? You're just going to abandon us? I'm not abandoning you. I'm choosing myself. Finally, she stared at me for a long moment, then grabbed her purse and headed for the door. Her hand on the knob, she turned back. You'll regret this. Maybe. But at least they'll be my regrets. My choices. My life. She left, slamming the door behind her. I stood there, my whole body shaking, tears pouring down my face. Marcus came out of the bedroom where he'd been giving us privacy. He didn't say anything, just held me while I cried. But underneath the tears, I felt something else. Something I hadn't felt in months. Freedom. The morning of our wedding arrived cool and clear. Perfect October weather. The sky was that brilliant blue you only get in autumn, and the temperature was 68 degrees. Lauren's backyard looked magical. The oak trees formed a natural canopy, their leaves just starting to turn gold and red. String lights crisscrossed overhead, ready to glow as evening fell. White chairs lined up in neat rows facing a simple wooden arbor that Lauren's husband had built and wrapped in sage green fabric and cream-colored flowers. I got ready in Lauren's guest room with Jenna and 2 of my college friends. My dress was simple, elegant, bought off the rack, and tailored to fit perfectly for $800 total. No designer label, no fancy beading, just clean lines and beautiful fabric that made me feel like myself. Jenna did my hair in soft waves with small sprigs of baby's breath woven through. My makeup was natural, glowing. When I looked in the mirror, I saw a woman who'd fought for her happiness, who'd worked 2 jobs and saved every penny, who'd stood up to people who should have loved her better. I saw strength. Marcus was getting ready at Tony's restaurant with his groomsmen. I hadn't seen him since the night before when we'd had dinner with our closest friends, toasting to new beginnings. Guests started arriving at 4 o'clock, 75 people who genuinely loved us and wanted to celebrate. Marcus's family filled several rows. His parents, his sister, and brother-in-law, aunts and uncles and cousins. My extended family came too. My grandmother Eleanor sat in the front row wearing a beautiful lavender dress, her eyes already shining with tears. My aunts Rachel and Susan sat with their families, all of them having made the choice to support me despite my mother's anger. My college friends, our work colleagues, the neighbors from our apartment building who'd become friends, Tony and his wife, the photographer Jenna had found. Every single person there had played some role in making this day happen. What was missing was obvious. 3 empty seats on the bride's side of the aisle, my parents and Amanda. I'd set aside chairs for them anyway, some small part of me still hoping they'd show up. But as 4:30 approached, those seats stayed empty. "Are you ready?" Jenna asked, squeezing my hand. I nodded. "I'm ready." Eleanor had volunteered to walk me down the aisle. "Your grandfather would have been honored," she'd said, "and I'm honored to stand in." The music started, a string quartet that was actually 4 of Marcus's college friends who played together for fun. They'd volunteered their time and talent. The melody was beautiful, soaring. I stepped out of the house on Eleanor's arm. The guests stood, turning to look. But I only saw Marcus. He stood at the altar in a simple dark suit, his best friend beside him. When our eyes met, his face transformed. Joy, pure and uncomplicated. He wiped at his eyes with one hand, not even trying to hide the tears. Walking down that aisle felt like letting go of every hurt, every disappointment, every moment of feeling not good enough. With each step, I released the pain of the past months. The humiliation at that restaurant, the lies my mother had spread, the money that had been promised and taken away, the sister who'd betrayed me. All of it fell away. What remained was this: Marcus and me, choosing each other, building something real. The ceremony was simple and heartfelt. We'd written our own vows. Marcus went first, his voice steady despite the emotion. "Bridget, you are the strongest person I know. This year tested us in ways we never imagined, but you never gave up. You never let other people's choices define your worth. You worked harder than anyone should have to for a wedding, and you did it with grace and determination. I promise to always see your strength, to always value your voice, to always choose you every single day for the rest of my life." I had to pause and breathe before I could start my vows. Marcus, you stood beside me when it would have been easier to walk away. You believed in us when everyone else doubted. You worked overtime and sacrificed and never once complained. You showed me what real partnership looks like, what real love looks like. I promise to honor that. To build a life with you based on truth and respect and choosing each other over and over again. We exchanged rings, simple gold bands that we'd picked out together. The officiant, one of Marcus's former professors, pronounced us married. Marcus kissed me, and everyone cheered. The reception at Tony's restaurant was perfect. He'd transformed his private dining room with the decorations I'd designed. Sage green tablecloths, cream-colored candles, my hand-lettered place cards. The food was incredible. Traditional Italian dishes made with love. Wine flowed freely. Toasts were given. Eleanor stood to speak, tapping her glass with a fork. The room quieted. "I've known Bridget since the day she was born," Eleanor began. "I've watched her grow into a remarkable woman, someone with integrity and kindness and strength that some people never develop in a lifetime." She paused, looking directly at me. "Some people are given everything and appreciate nothing. Others create everything from nothing and treasure it forever. Bridget and Marcus, you've built something real here, something honest, something that will last because it's founded on true partnership and genuine love. I'm so proud to be your grandmother, Bridget, and I'm honored to welcome Marcus into our family." The subtext wasn't lost on anyone. I saw some guests glance at those 3 empty chairs, but Eleanor's words weren't bitter. They were truthful, loving, proud. Dancing followed dinner. Our first dance was to a song Marcus had chosen, about building a home together. We swayed in the center of the restaurant while our friends and family watched. I felt his heartbeat against my cheek, steady and strong. As the evening wound down, around 9 o'clock, my phone buzzed in my small clutch purse. I almost ignored it, but something made me look. A text from my father. "Your mother told me what she said to you last week. I'm ashamed. You were right about everything. About Amanda, about the money, about our choices. I hope one day you can forgive us. Congratulations on your marriage, Bridget. You and Marcus deserve happiness. I showed Marcus. He read it, then looked at me carefully. How do you feel? I don't know, I admitted. It's not enough, but it's something. What do you want to do? I looked around the room. At Eleanor laughing with Marcus's mother. At Jenna dancing with one of the groomsmen. At all these people who'd shown up for us, who'd helped make this day happen. At my husband, this man who'd stood beside me through everything. Nothing today, I said. Today is ours. Marcus smiled and kissed my forehead. Yeah, it is. We danced until 11. We cut the cake Jenna had somehow gotten donated from a local bakery. We threw the bouquet and garter. We hugged every single guest and thanked them for coming. When it was finally time to leave, we walked out to a tunnel of sparklers, everyone cheering. Marcus and I drove to a small bed and breakfast an hour away for our mini honeymoon. We'd saved enough for 3 nights. It was all we needed. 3 months passed. Marcus and I settled into married life in our small apartment. We were happy. Genuinely, simply happy. We cooked dinners together and watched movies on the couch and made plans for the future. We talked about buying a house eventually, starting a family someday. Everything felt possible. Eleanor called one afternoon in late January. I wanted to let you know something. Your parents have been going to financial counseling. They've worked out a repayment plan for their debts. It'll take them years, but they're managing. And Amanda moved back home. She got a job as a receptionist at a dental office. She's actually showing up on time. That's good, I said. And I meant it. I didn't wish them harm. I just needed distance. Your mother asked me to ask you something, Eleanor continued carefully. She wants to know if you'd be willing to have coffee with her sometime. Not now, but eventually. When you're ready. She says she doesn't want to ask for anything. She just wants to talk. To apologize properly. She understands if you say no. I thought about it. Tell her maybe. In a few months. When I'm ready. On my terms. That's fair, sweetheart. I discussed it with Marcus that evening. We were in our small kitchen making pasta together. He was chopping vegetables while I stirred the sauce. Do you think you'll ever really forgive them? He asked. I don't know. Maybe forgiveness isn't the point. Maybe the point is just understanding that their choices were about them, not about me. My worth isn't determined by whether they see it. You've come a long way. We both have. He put down the knife and pulled me close. I'm proud of you. Of us. Me too. That night, I sat at my computer looking through our wedding photos. The photographer had delivered them the week before, and they were beautiful. Every shot captured real joy, real love, real celebration. There was one of Marcus and me laughing during our first dance. One of Eleanor beaming in the front row during the ceremony. One of all our friends throwing flower petals as we walked back down the aisle. Marcus came up behind me, resting his chin on my shoulder. Those came out amazing. They really did. Any regrets? I thought about everything. The pain of that dinner. The humiliation. The betrayal. The hard work of planning everything ourselves. The fear that we couldn't pull it off. The moment I stood up to my mother and chose myself. No, I said honestly. No regrets. I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be. And I meant it. Because sometimes the greatest gift is being forced to believe in yourself. Sometimes the people who should lift you up will let you down. But that doesn't mean you can't fly. It just means you have to build your own wings. I learned that family love shouldn't require you to shrink yourself or sacrifice your dreams to prove your worth. Real love celebrates your joy, supports your growth, and stands beside you in your moments of happiness. When people show you they can't be that for you, the most powerful thing you can do is build your own foundation, create your own happiness, and refuse to let their limitations define your possibilities. Strength isn't about changing their minds. It's about knowing your value, regardless of whether they see it. Marcus and I built a marriage based on partnership and respect. We created a life where we chose each other every day. And that choice, that commitment, meant more than any wedding my parents' money could have bought. Sometimes you don't get the family you deserve, but you can build the life you deserve anyway. You can surround yourself with people who see your worth. You can create your own traditions, your own support system, your own definition of what family means. I looked at Marcus, at our small but cozy apartment, at the life we were building together. This was enough, more than enough. It was everything. Now I want to hear from you. Have you ever had to choose between family expectations and your own happiness? Have you ever had to stand up to people you love and set boundaries, even when it hurt? How did you find the strength to put yourself first? Share your story in the comments below. Your experience might be exactly what someone else needs to hear today. If this story resonated with you, please hit that like button and subscribe to hear more stories about finding strength in difficult situations. Share this with someone who needs to be reminded of their worth today. And remember, you deserve people in your life who celebrate your happiness, not people who ask you to dim your light so they feel better about their choices. Thank you so much for listening to my story. I hope it reminded you that you're stronger than you think and that choosing yourself isn't selfish, it's necessary. Wishing you all the courage to build the life you deserve, surrounded by people who truly see and value you. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you in the next story.